Greetings, I'm Solidus-Skully, and welcome back to the Revenge of the Sith commentary, where we seem to have jumped quite a bit ahead. Yeah, no ambiguity about why Anakin's coming to the Chancellor's rescue. In fact, from his perspective, and I suppose even the players, yeah, Mace Windu was just attacking a helpless senator.
What are you doing?
He's a traitor to the Republic. Letting him live is too dangerous.
Letting you kill him is against our Jedi beliefs. I won't allow it.
Anakin! Come to your senses. So be it.
I actually really, to some extent, I actually kind of like this more than what the movie did. Because, like, I mean, you notice how, like, in the live-action footage, it cut right before Anakin is meant to slash Windu's hand off. At which point, you know, Palpatine does this whole Sith lightning thing. You know, because he does this whole, I'm so weak, fooled you, bzz. But no, instead, Anakin and Master Windu have this whole battle of ideologies, and like, in some weird way, it does actually kind of explain why Anakin was willing to side with Palpatine, given what he's witnessing right here.
He's manipulating you, making you betray the Jedi Order. Can't you see that?
The only thing I see is a Jedi trying to assassinate a politician. You're the one who's betraying the Republic.
I mean, there is also the added context of the fact that the fight does have a lot more dynamic to it. Like, I mean, you're fighting in a lot more different environments, and again, you get to see the beautiful Coruscant cityscape as it starts to rain, and honestly, it's quite cool. I mean, I do think the movie itself does also have some more build-up, because again, the live-action cutscenes were skipping over scenes about, you know, Anakin and Sidious talking about, you know, Darth Plagueis and how to stop Padme from dying and all that kind of stuff. Which again is important building, but stuff you can't really make for a video game. At least not by 2005 standards, I don't think, but I don't know. I really do like this fight because again, it does kind of show the build-up and animosity between Anakin and Windu, because I think reading into like some of the materials, I don't think Master Windu really liked Anakin all that much. Like, especially given like how un-Jedi-like he was, so yeah, this kind of brings all those emotions to the surface, and well, again, Windu was very hard-headed as a Jedi.
You have been tainted by the dark side. No! And you have failed the Jedi Order.
No! So yeah, like, I mean, while it does kind of lose like a bit more of, and again, this does actually come up with a bit of a discrepancy in regards to a clip we're going to be seeing shortly by the time the fight's over, but I don't know, I do really like this, but at the same time, it does also kind of cheapen Anakin's like whole, what have I done? I'm a monster sort of thoughts, because like, I mean, while he is teetering on the edge of the dark side at this point, well, at this and shortly after towards the end of the movie before he gets like burnt to shit, there is also like a lot more build-up that does kind of show the ties on how Anakin became Vader in the first place, which is interesting to me.
Your reign of evil ends now.
No, it's your treachery that's finished.
By the way, something I probably should have mentioned a lot before, well, aside from the fact that Palpatine pretty much got up and then decided to sit down, and they also noticeably don't have this Emperor model yet, so they're just using the same Chancellor Palpatine model from earlier on. Yeah, something I wanted to talk about in terms of the actual game itself. A lot of destructible environments. Quite cool, especially here where you can really see the destruction take its toll. It's pretty fun. But, anyway, this is pretty much the final stretch, really. And again, like, while it does handle, like, Windu's death a lot differently, at the same time, the cutscene that you're about to see shortly after the in-game one is just, kind of a bit it ends with itself, but again, it's kind of weird how he just sort of goes from, like, oh no, what have I done, to, nope, I'm suddenly Lord Vader now, but I don't know, the game version kind of builds up the Vaderiness a little bit more, which I just like.
What have I done?
You know, you just had a big, long-ass fight with him. I'm pretty sure that probably would have been grounds for you to say, what have I done before all that, or to try and talk him down. But yeah, at this point, Sidious pretty much has no qualms about him being evil, even though I'm pretty sure if Anakin truly was repentant, he could have at least, like, I don't know, stabbed Palpatine and pushed him out the window or something. Like, I mean, I don't think people would have minded. Like, I mean, you could have omitted the stuff where you fought against, like, Mace Windu or whatever. You still could have been a hero if you wanted to turn back. But no, at this point he's pretty much just fully, well, sort of half fully committed to the dark side, but now not really. Anyway, I'll let you enjoy this.
I want access to the Temple signal beacon.
On whose authority?
By order of the Supreme Chancellor.
That is not within the Chancellor's power. Only the Jedi Council can authorize access.
The Council is no longer in control.
You won't get away with this, Skywalker!
So, yes indeedy. This is where the fun begins, because now we actually get to play through the raid in the Jedi Temple. That thing that was only sort of glossed over in the movies, now we actually get to play as Anakin slaughtering Jedi, and oh god, this makes me sound a little bit like a sick fuck, but I was looking forward to this. And it's a lot of fun taking on Jedi opponents, taking them down, using your Sith powers to their fullest extent. It's really cool to get a first-hand experience with it as you know, barrage through Jedi with clones and all that sort of stuff. Again, you get to have a lot more interesting fights and, well, yeah, it's really fun. You won't be getting to see a lot of the more recognizable Jedi Masters, unfortunately, because, again, they're all off fighting the Clone Wars, and the only ones that are really left here are either Padawans or babysitters, or I think just, kids, really. Although they won't be kids for long. Because they'll be dead! Rog, slice arm off, episode 4, pig nose guy. But yeah, also one fun fact, because I mean, I tell a lie. There was one actress from the movie who did reprise her role, and that was the librarian lady from episode 2. She reprised her role as the librarian chick. So, yeah, that's one bizarre actress. I think she was also Australian as well, but I can't quite remember her name at present. Kinda surprised I got her back, considering the fact that I don't think she had a role in Revenge of the Sith, or if it was probably a deleted scene, but yeah, it's a nice little callback nonetheless. But anyway, this is pretty much going to be one of a relatively lengthy level, I'd say, but at the same time it's also quite... Well, actually, it does also have a few discrepancies as well, because I mean, you saw, again, like the beginning of Operation Nightfall, where again Anakin and the clone troopers were attacking at night, but now, as you'll soon see once we get outside, it's like the middle of the day, so what's going on with the time scheme? Like, I mean, is it meant to be the morning? Like, is it a sunrise? I have no idea, but... In any case, like, I mean, a lot of the Jedi you're going to be facing right here aren't really much. I mean, again, much in the same vein as some of the other opponents you've been facing. Again, you have heavy hitters, you have, you know, live and agile opponents, and of course you have the regular Jedi fare that you're facing right now. Some can actually get pretty annoying, but again, they don't really have as much on some of the other foes you'll be facing. I mean, I will say right now, in terms of the hardest levels in the game, it would be Mustafar with some of the Nemoidian guards. Surprisingly, oh yes, another new addition! Anakin no longer has the Force Stun ability because now he gets access to Force Lightning, which I don't think he's ever actually used in the continuity. Well, as far as I know anyway. Like, I mean, Anakin was always more of the Force Choke kind of guy, which I'm kind of surprised they never did anything with that, but yeah, he can use Lightning, and Force Lightning is great, because I like the ability to shoot lightning out of my fingertips. But again, like, I mean, a lot of your objectives are pretty much the same as what they've been throughout most of the game up to this point. Access computer terminals, fight off opponents, jump to and fro and explore environments for hidden goodies and secrets. Again, it's a pretty fun level, but again, you do also have the added catharsis factor of again reenacting Order 66, which is, again, is where a lot of these sorts of games I feel really hit their stride when you get to actively experience these points in the movie. Like, I mean, you've already got the context of, you know, even if you haven't seen the film really, that you're slaughtering all the Jedi that you used to be associated with, because now even your friend, Obi-Wan Kenobi, is now an enemy of the Jedi. I really wish I could do a good Emperor Palpatine voice, but, alas, it's not easy being hunted by the Emperor. But yeah, like, I mean, I think it is also good for another reason, in the sense that you get a lot more interesting fights now that you have fully fledged lightsaber opponents who, again, can use the Force, again, they can have their own abilities used to their own advantage, and again, like, I mean, a lot of the fights really do take off at this point. I mean, then also, you know, it's actually reenacting a point in the movie which is, well, something we haven't seen, but at the same time was also close to how the events actually went down. Like, I mean, most of what we saw of the raid in the Jedi Temple was mainly just from the clone's perspective of butchering Jedi and all that sort of stuff, but I don't know, it's really nice to see and experience, which is why video games are cool, because you get to experience worlds, experiences are about you, and worlds, and other general game developer E3 spiels, or whatever. Now we're introduced to the Jedi Ferrets, or the Sentinels I think they're called, because again they're a lot more agile, they're flipping about to and fro, and they do that like little Ventus, like hold the lightsaber backwards kind of thing. Well, I suppose to use a more Star Warsy example, that kind of Ahsoka style of lightsaber combat. Well, except without the dual lightsabers, obviously. But yeah, these dudes like to flip around and kind of get up in your face and dodge out of the way. But again, if you have some Force Lightning at your advantage, they're pretty much no problem. And another cool ability is that, again, you can pretty much just lift them up into the air and use your Force Lightning in a cool, sick-ass combo that is just, bellissimo! Dark side io bellissimo! And again, you also have your Clone Trooper buddies, pretty much just there to help you. And again, like, I mean, you're not just tearing your way through Jedi, you're also tearing your way through, Jedi monuments and statues as well, so I don't know who this famed, esteemed member of the Jedi Order was, but, their memento just got completely destroyed, and it crushed a Jedi as it was doing it. Truly, Anakin is the biggest prankster of them all. I've got again to actually talk about what we're doing, if you weren't paying attention to the cutscene. Yeah, we're pretty much heading off to the beacon, which, again, as you'll find out soon in the movie, was pretty much where they pretty much gave, like, a return home order. You know, the war is over, all Jedi come home, free chips and pizza from Chancellor Palpatine, although really, I don't even know why he's bothering to keep it the facade at this point. Because, I mean, they pretty much skim over, like, all of Palpatine's, misgivings and evil doings. Like, I mean, the Jedi were starting to suspect something, again, as Obi-Wan points out earlier in the movie, but at the same time, a lot of that sort of plot points was mainly cut out, and that had a lot to do with, a lot of Padme's role being cut out of the movie, because what a lot of the deleted scenes were implying was that basically her, Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, and a few other people were pretty much the early inception of the rebellion, so yeah, Padme was pretty much the foundation of that. I'm pretty sure a lot of this was also kept with the novelization, but they cut a lot of that out, which is kind of saddening really, because not only did it give Padme a little bit more to go on, but at the same time I think it also made the ending a little bit more tragic, because again, it gave Anakin reason to doubt his wife's loyalty to the Republic and to democracy. But, yeah, in terms of the movie, like, I mean, the only thing they really seem to imply as to why Anakin goes flipshit on her at the end is because of, like, infidelity, which was also an undercut plot element. But whatever, to point out these enemies, the brutes, the heavy hitters. Again, they also have an annoying ability where they can pretty much block your Force Lightning. So again, if you try and use Force Lightning on them, they'll pretty much spin their lightsabers around all Darth Maul style. And, well, they'll pretty much wreck your shit. They can be pretty annoying, but, yeah, they hit hard and they block your Force Lightning, which makes me sad. So again, it's pretty much just pip damage. You just gotta try and pip them where you can and do for the good old stabby stab stab. Although then again, that's not really easy to do when your Force powers are out of juice. Though then again, sometimes when beat-em-ups do allow it, you can kind of skim past a few areas and try and avoid that whole little block area to continue thing that a lot of beat-em-up games are just so annoying about. Which, I mean, I might call a bit of a pet peeve of mine, like whenever I'm playing through something like, say, Devil May Cry or God of War or whatever, when you have, like, that Curse War seal, and that you just can't continue until you fucking complete it. I don't know, some games are a little bit more worse about it than others. Sonic Unleashed in particular was really bad about that with the Werehog stages, but that's neither here nor there in this case. Force lightning away! That's delicious. I don't know, man, I just love killing Jedi. I'm just tapping into my inner Adam Rand right now. You get a taste for it, you know? It's, good, you just get a taste of the dark side. Good.
Is this what passes for Jedi now?
But, yeah, putting that aside, we're pretty much just going from room to room and, just making progress, really. It's just so cathartic. I love Force Lightning. I wish I had Force Lightning so I could just intimidate my underlings and, eliminate my overlings. It's just, catharsis. And I mean, I know we've already been outside of this point, but I mean, just watch this right here, because I really want to point this out. Is this meant to be, like, the early morning? I think it might be, because, like, I mean, why did it start in the middle of the night? I don't know. I'm trying to remember, actually. Actually, no, I'm thinking of a later level. Scratch that thought, because why would the clones be attacking Anakin? Actually, that is kind of a good point, actually. Like, I mean, do the clones know ahead of time, or... Because, like, I mean, they see Anakin with a lightsaber, like, so do the clones know that he's on Palpatine's side? I mean, obviously, Palpatine wouldn't order the clones to attack Anakin because he wants him to be his apprentice, but, I don't know, it seemed... I never really got, like, the sort of context about how the clones distinguish between, like, Anakin being on their team while everybody else was, like, an enemy? I don't know, I guess maybe the clones, or at least from the... I think the explanation was, like, inhibitor chips or something, so maybe they have a command like a Lord Vader friend resignation or something? I don't know. It's, quite weird, I'm confused as to why the clones thought Anakin friendly while Jedi evil. Even though it's obviously because of Order 66 or whatever, but... I don't know, just things to bring up, I suppose. I mean, I suppose if you did kind of want to take out those gun turrets a little bit faster, you could just, use the lightsaber throw to take them out in, like, 1 or 2 hits, but, yeah, I don't know. If you want to go for max protection and keep your force powers, you use the /// lightsaber defense ability. And unfortunately, though, this is also another thing where you pretty much just have to wait for your friends to arrive to continue, as they plot a charge on the door and just blow it off. Though then again, it does give you time to use the Force Heal ability, which Anakin still has despite being on the dark side, so, go figure. Yeah, seriously, how the hell did this guy get to become a Jedi? Like, he seems a bit too aggressive, which seems like kind of against the Jedi way. Well, I mean, then again, I suppose the implication is that maybe that the Jedi have been more accustomed to war since the Clone Wars began, so that's why they have people like these big dudes just sort of like jumping in all like, grrr, roar, beer good, Napster bad. But yeah, it's pretty much the sort of situation where you pretty much just have to wait for your force powers to kind of rejuvenate and do a little bit more pip damage. Either that or use your grappling moves on them, which can be quite effective. But then again, these enemies can be quite tricky if you're not prepared for them, because again, you can get your ass swiftly kicked if you ain't paying attention. And yeah, using your environment like, you know, explosive canisters, quite useful. I'd recommend using those against them actually, because yeah, they ain't gonna be blocking dead. That just seems kind of well, okay, no, they had another, like, brutish Jedi dude, but I was gonna say, throwing up that gun turret as the last line of defense seemed kind of pathetic. Yeah, but to also further elucidate, this does also kind of indicate the game's, like, archaic sort of beat-em-up approach, where, again, like, a lot of the game's levels tend to throw, like, more of the big enemies and, like, a lot more shit your way as a means of challenge, which... I don't know, like, I mean, again, I don't expect, like, a movie tie-in game to be programmed with as much refined depth as, like, a God of War or Devil May Cry kind of thing, but... I don't know, it does show, like, some of the crow's feet in the game's design, I feel. Or at least that's something that you tend to notice when you get a little bit older and you're just a bit more cognizant of these sort of tropes. Because, again, like, I mean, you can tank a lot of damage in this game, but again, it will start to weather on you after a point, and, like, I mean, that's... I suppose that's just something you can kind of take or leave from a design standpoint. Like, I mean, the force hold, like the force grasp and like the lightning combo can work, but again, you need to have a lot of force points to pull it off, and well, when your health starts getting low, you kind of need that stuff, you know, healing up. Because we are getting quite down in the depths, so to speak, so, yeah. Oh, by the way, there is also something else I want to point out, actually. Like, I mean, at least to do with some of Anakin's quotes, because, like, you see a lot, like, a lot of this, like, when he's very staccato and monotone, like, he'll usually have, like, more of a Lord Vader-ish kind of voice tone about him. Problem is, like, they used a lot of these quotes also earlier in the game, so, like, it doesn't really make his transformation feel very natural from a gameplay perspective. Well, I mean, it does, because, again, you have the context from the story and cutscenes, but at the same time, it's also, like, ill-appropriately placed, I might say. But again, that's like a very minor vestigial nitpick, so, yeah, just take it with a grain of salt, really. And now we're pretty much in the ending part of this point, where we're in the Hangar Bay! You know, where you get to see some of the triangle ships from Episode 2 and, the rest of the Jedi fighters. Also, they really didn't spare much of an expense when it came to the, additional allies. Like, they just have very generic sort of, "Stop, Skywalker, I'll kill you," with about as much quality voice acting as what I just said right there, because, fuck it. And it's kind of obvious, because again, you could tell like some of the brutes were voiced by Tom Kane, who also did Master Yoda's voice, and I believe actually is, well, mainly because I think he has suffered a stroke as of last year, so yeah, he's pretty much, I think he's retired from voice acting, sadly, which is a bit of a shame, because I really did like his Yoda voice. Well, I mean, I suppose he's no substitute for Frank Oz, obviously, but, don't know. He was the chosen one, and, we'll miss him dearly. But anyway, this is also the last and final segment where you get to take control of a turret, and this is probably the hardest turret section in the game, really. Mainly because, again, you have a lot of hazards to, again, take on. Again, you have a lot of Jedi shooting at you, and again, you have the... Well, I'd say the Jedi ship lasers also do a lot more damage to your health than what you might expect, and again, the fact that your gun turret does also tend to overheat at times is, well... Again, you've really got to watch out for it, and you can die quite easily. I mean, this is mitigated by the fact that, again, you can pretty much collect, like, the, collect the health bonuses and pickups, so again, your mileage may vary depending on how much you explore the levels and, you know, how willing you are to find the hidden collectibles and boost your health up, but, yeah, this can be quite by the skin of your teeth. And again, as you can tell by the length, yeah, we're gonna be here for quite a while. Although, then again, it also kind of gives the impression that these Jedi aren't really thinking with their head too much. I mean, again, I know they're probably also trying to defend their temple, but I mean, at this point, with clones kind of running all over the shop, you would have thought the Jedi's, like, prime motive would have been to retreat, regroup, and basically, like, find a group of Jedi to reunite and, I guess, maybe take back the Jedi Temple by storm. I mean, that was, like, a lot of what the post, Order 66 Jedi had tried to do at a much lesser extent, but, you would have thought by the numbers were still a little bit more grand that they would have tried something like that a bit earlier rather than just staying to try and fight off Anakin. Because, I mean, at this point, Anakin did have the reputation of being a war hero, so, taking him on seems like a bit of an ill-advised move, unless, you know, you had a lot more Jedi at your disposal. Although, then again, they're kind of doing a good job now, since they're kind of tag-teaming him with the gun turrets, so, maybe I speak too quickly. Oh god, I'm getting flashbacks to Ratchet & Clank 3. The bloody Tyrannoid mission. Well, on Arcadia at the very least. Is that really all the Jedi Starfighters have for weaponry? That's kinda lame, dude.
Sir, we breached the beacon control room. We're awaiting your access code.
That will bring any surviving Jedi home, where I will be waiting for them.
Lord Vader, a Jedi has penetrated our upper-level defenses.
Yes, I sense Syndraulic. I'll deal with him. You stay and protect the beacon. Guard it with your lives.